I really believe Jalen Hurts turned the corner after that NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. He put on a hell of a performance. But what I come to realize after last night, I should have just stayed and followed my first mind. Jalen Hurts is a limited quarterback, and we gonna talk about it. So last night, I went back in my tweets and I went back on my former page, and I had made videos about Jalen Hurts, about how he was limited in a lot of areas. One reads, wasn't decisive with the ball, can't go through his read, he processed really, really slow. And I said this years ago, and I got the tweets to back it up. But in my heart of hearts, I really thought that he took that next step in those playoff games and the Super Bowl games. And a lot of us, even me, I was blinded by what a lot of what Jalen Hurts did in that game. And my wife, shout out to my wife, she made an analogy. And she said, he's pretty much doing the same thing as Russell Wilson in a nutshell. Everything was a deep ball. And when you go back and you go look at that Kansas City game, he just shocked Steve Spagnuolo in the Kansas City defense. Saquon Barkley had ran for 2,000 yards that year. He was all world, all purpose. He was doing everything. And they loaded up the box against him. And when they was running them blitzes at him, he was heaving deep balls, and Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown was coming down with him. They really shocked the Kansas City Chiefs. And when I looked at the game last night, a lot of what he did in the Kansas City game is what he did in the Giants game. What he do in the Giants game that he did somewhat well. He was able to throw that deep ball, especially to that right side. But he also threw a ball where Devontae Smith was able to get a pass interference call, but it really wasn't a pass interference. He just didn't throw a good ball. And I just got some more information because my buddy Kendall Beck just put out a tweet. And he put out a thread, and basically he was saying, hey, Kevin Patullo, according to A.J. Brown, and by the way, go follow Kendall Beck. He's a reporter, Philadelphiaeagles. He knows all things Philly. And basically what came out is Kevin Patullo puts the play calls together to the liking of Jalen Hurts. So now that that's found out, we have a whole nother issue. And I have to apologize to A.J. Brown. I went off on a tangent on A.J. Brown because I felt like A.J. Brown was acting like a baby. But he wasn't. This thing has been held in, and it's probably just busting at the seams at this point. These guys are frustrated. These guys have a lot of talent on that team, and the quarterback is limited. And let's just call it what it is. He's a limited quarterback. I thought that Jalen Hurts really took that next step. I said, this is going to be the ever-evolving change for Jalen Hurts. He's going to be able to go through these reads a little bit faster. He's a champion. He's learning that he can win with his arm. And he honestly just looks like the same quarterback that he was at Alabama.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
He looks like the same quarterback that just has a limited skill set. I think his height has a lot to do with it. That's one thing. And the reason why his height has a lot to do with it is because he's already a guy that can't really process that fast. But he can't see over that middle as great. And I don't think he trusts his eyes. He wants to be perfect. And when you're a quarterback, being perfect is impossible. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make the wrong reads. Patrick Mahomes just threw a pick six last week. But he's able to go shake it off, get back to work. I don't think Jalen Hurts mentally is made up like that. I think he's made up as a guy, and I'm going to have to call him what he is. I think he's Russell Wilson 2.0. He's Russell Wilson 2.0. And if you know anything about the Seattle days, and I'm not saying this about Jalen Hurts, where he's disrupting the locker room or anything like that, but he's so focused on the image of Jalen Hurts. But it's the work that you got to put in behind it. You are the franchise quarterback. You are the guy that everybody looks to. You are the highest paid guy. You are the man. You the CEO of the company. And you have to go put in the work for your team to follow you. And if you're not putting in that work, everybody else are going to start putting their heads down. Even the defensive side of the ball is going to feel it. And you're going to have these situations. Now, I do have to put Nick Sirianni in this situation. This is the problem that I had with Nick Sirianni last year. And Jalen Hurts fits into this situation too. When everything is going great, nothing went wrong last year. Everything went perfect for Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Great. Glad you could have that type of year. You guys was able to deliver on the Super Bowl. Excellent. Here's the problem. When adversity shows up at their door, they do not answer. That's what it really is at the end of the day. Nick Sirianni is not a good CEO. I made a video about him last year. And while he's calmed down a lot, I still don't believe that he's a real head coach. It seems like every time that the Eagles' wheels fall off, they can't bounce back immediately. Hey, we had a little slowdown here. You know, we came into the fork in the road. We called a little bump. Okay, but we gonna bounce back. When the Eagles lose, they have to go lose multiple games because they cannot get the train back on the tracks for some odd reason. And you have to look and point the blame at the two guys that run the team, your head coach and your quarterback. I think Jalen Hurts wants to be a leader. It sounds good. He tries to do his thing out there. You see him in certain spots where he's trying to be a leader, but it's trying to be a leader and it's being a leader. They're two different things. And I want to see you when the pressure's on, when the adversity's on. How do you lead your troops then? I want to see Nick Sirianni as a head coach. When the adversity hits, how do you lead your troops? Not chirping back and forth with Baker Mayfield. Because you're the one that's supposed to set the standard in the organization. You're the one that's going to do the press conference every week. Jeffrey Lurie ain't in front of the camera like that guy in Dallas he is every week. He don't do that. He leaves that to his coaching staff, his head coach, and his quarterback. And these two guys are the leader of this organization. And right now, they both look bad. It falls on both of them because I was having conversations with my wife and other Philadelphia fans. Hey, Kevin Patullo, he took over. You know, Jalen Hurts has been through 5 or 6 different offensive coordinators and everything else. But when we saw Tanner McKee was looking like Dan Marino. He's throwing people open. He's hitting tight windows. He's processing fast. He's doing all these things. And you look at it and you say, okay, well, he did do this against the Bengals starting defense. But what is the Bengals starting defense? I mean, it might be equivalent to a college defense at this point. Okay, but he still did his thing. It wasn't in the regular season. Then we go back, and I thought about it. I said, well, he played against the Dallas Cowboys. He carved them up. Then he played against the Giants last year, and he carved them up. Okay. While Tanner McKee isn't a starter, and I believe he could be a top 10 starter in this league if he gets a chance, and we'll get to that point, he can go through his reads and progressions. And when I read you what Kendall Beck says about Jalen Hurts sits with Kevin Patullo, and he gets the plays that he like and the plays that he don't like, that's showing that Jalen Hurts is limited as a quarterback. And these are thoughts that I had in 2022, and I backed off of them after the Super Bowl run. And it's starting to look like that Tiger can't change his stripes. That's who he is. And when you have that type of situation going on, I think the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is not a situation where I'm just being hyperbolic. If you're going to keep Jalen Hurts, you're going to have to get that type of coordinator that fits with Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts, at best, is a B quarterback. He's like that tier B quarterback he can be, where he needs to go in that Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin Stefanski, Kevin O'Connell type of offense, where the offense has trainer wheels on it. And let's just be honest, that is the type of quarterback he is. He's not a quarterback that processes fast. He can't go through his reads particularly well. He just processes slow. And I don't know if that's something that he can get better at. We've seen quarterbacks get better at that. But I'm thinking Jalen Hurts now is in, his fifth, sixth year at this point, and he has not taken that next step. And I thought he was going to take that next step coming into this season. And honestly, it looks like he's regressed. To the point we're seeing a tush push on 4 straight plays. To the point that we're seeing the Matt Canada style offense from Kevin Patullo, where you're running the ball on the first 2 downs, and then it's 3rd and 7. Then he has to throw the ball. So what we've learned is if the running game's not working for Jalen Hurts, he is not a force multiplier. He is not that guy. And I hate to break it to you Eagles fans, but I know how you Eagles fans are. Listen, y'all want the truth. Y'all don't care who it is. Y'all are going to get Sonny Jurgens off the wherever he at to come play quarterback, Randall Cunningham, because y'all just want to win. And I respect that about y'all. But you have a limited quarterback. And if you're going to have a limited quarterback, you're going to have to get a play caller, like I just mentioned, that can really babysit a quarterback. You're going to have to rely on the run game. And if the run game ain't working, you in trouble. You in trouble. This is why they say, hey, well, if Jalen Hurts throws over 25 times or 30 times, we lose. And if you go look at the statistics, the Eagles really don't fare that well when he throws a lot because his game is built on balance. Like I said, you had a running back at Saquon Barkley last year that ran for 2,000 yards. And I don't even know how many total all-purpose yards he had last year because he did a good job catching the ball out the backfield too. So he was a big-time safety valve for the Philadelphia Eagles to even make that run that they made. Now you're in this 2025 season where you're the targeted, you're the hunted, and they're just sitting 8 in the box waiting on Saquon Barkley to run, and they're daring Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. Now we're seeing the results. And I can't think of what player it was that said this. Was it last year or the year before last? But they said if you send any type of pressure up the middle on Jalen Hurts, he's going to fall apart. I can't remember who said that. If anybody in the comments know who said that, leave it in the comments because I don't know who exactly said that. But I should have followed my first mind. He is a limited quarterback. And I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because I felt like his game was going to grow. But it hasn't. I don't even know, and my wife brought this up, I don't even know who Jalen Hurts looks up to as another quarterback to help him grow his game. I hear him talk about Michael Jordan a lot. Y'all know Michael Jordan's my guy. Kobe's my guy. But you still have to have somebody that's within the sport that can be some type of mentor towards you. If I was Jalen Hurts, I would work with Drew Brees. They're about the same size. Drew Brees knew how to move around on his landing points, shuffling that pocket to get to where he needed to go to make those reads and those throws. He can move those landing points and everything else. I think Jalen Hurts needs to work with someone like that. Because if he doesn't, this is what you're going to get. And in my opinion, you can go check my Twitter account. Your best quarterback is sitting on the bench. That's Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee is that guy. He has all the potential in the world to be that guy. Now, of course, we have not seen him in a full season we've only seen bits and pieces of Tanner McKee. But when he plays, he shows up. And you see these offensive weapons' faces when they catch the ball from him and everything else. He has the total package, in my opinion. Been screaming his name for the last couple years. And I think I said in the video before, the reason why they kept Kenny Pickett, they traded for Kenny Pickett, is because they didn't want Tanner McKee breathing down Jalen Hurts' neck. So they needed a buffer at that time. Now, we hear all this stuff about Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders being QB2. It's a real superstar that might be waiting in Philly that's ready to unleash. And it's not like we haven't seen it before. Carson Wentz was supposed to be the guy, and then they went to Jalen Hurts. If this keeps going on, and they cannot, right this ship, don't be surprised if, any little nick to Jalen Hurts that they see happen to him, the Philadelphia Eagles organization is going to jump at snatching him out that lineup. Hey, Jalen, your hamstring looks a little tight. We don't want it to get any worse. Let's put it in Tanner McKee. We'll let you sit for a week or two. Don't worry about it. We want you to be healthy. Meanwhile, in the background, they scheming because they know QB2 is better than QB1. Then if QB1 goes out there and he shows out and he shows that potential of being that guy, now we're having a whole nother conversation. So I understand the Philadelphia Eagles organization right now. They're in a tough situation. You just came off a Super Bowl and, everything was hunky-dory till it wasn't. And they don't want to look bad doing something, what's the word I'm looking for? Sudden. They don't want to make a sudden move. But you have a talent that's sitting on the bench that all the guys like. And right now, Jalen Hurts just can't get it done. You have to run a lot of gimmicks and all type of wizardry to get something out of this offense. And that's not what I pay my $200+ million quarterback for wizardry and gimmicks. I do that for a quarterback that's basic. So, Philadelphia Eagles have decisions to make. And they're going to have to make one soon. Philadelphia fans don't play that. They call him everything but a good quarterback. I'll say it like that. Especially when you got that guy Tanner McKee sitting on that bench, who everybody's going to want this offseason. Everybody's going to be asking to trade for Tanner McKee. You think the Eagles going to give him up? I don't think so. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear your comments on this. I want your feedback on this video. Let me know what you think. To the next one. Peace. And if Jalen Hurts keep playing like that, the way he playing, it's going to be peace to him too. I'm gone.